Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. That was very, very beautiful from Brother Mustafa, the recitation of the Holy Quran. Absolutely.
MashaAllah, that's
Excellent.
been
Absolutely
a
excellent.
really big blessing for us to be able to hear the recitation in the holy month.
And we gently and appropriately move on to dua with yourself, Brother Ibrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Welcome, Brother Ibrahim.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me once again.
No, thank you for joining us.
Jazakumullah khair.
And the blessed month is coming towards an end.
Yeah, inshallah.
How has it treated you,
It's
or
just-
treating you?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Of course, there's always that hardship, but of course, like
With difficulty,
yeah, we hope
there is ease.
that through that is
inshallah.
our reward, inshallah.
Inshallah.
How about yourselves? How's Ramadan going?
Gets tiring physically at this point,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
and always,
You know, they always say the first few days are hard and the last are easy.
Mhm.
Whereas to me, I don't know, for some
Yeah.
reason, it's the opposite. The first few days just go
you know,
smoothly.
quite high,
The
aren't you?
last ones is just like,
Yeah.
especially we just finished the Shahada, Al-Qadr. It's just
The first few days are physically demanding, and then the last few days are emotionally hard because they feel sad.
And you always feel like you haven't done enough, and could you
Never
have
can do
done
enough.
more?
Never can do too much.
It's not, inshallah, it's with the
definitely.
blessing of Allah, He accepts whatever we have
Inshallah.
done.
Inshallah,
And
yeah.
so the dua today we're going to talk about is to mark the end of the holy month
The
of
holy month of
Ramadan. So if you'd like to,
I think the thing is, it came good with the dua that we chose for today with your statement that you just said of we haven't done enough, and that will come, inshallah, in a bit after this recitation, the translation.
Mhm.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم هذا شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن وقد تصرم وأعوذ بوجهك الكريم يا رب أن يطلع الفجر من ليلتي هذه أو يتصرم شهر رمضان ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تريد أن تعذبني به يوم ألقاك وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. This dua starts off with, "Oh Allah, this is the month of Ramadan in which you have revealed the Quran." Again, we mentioned this before as well. It's always mentioning
Yeah.
because it adds to this blessing of this holy month.
absolutely.
And it's about to come to an end. Inshallah, may Allah grant us many more Ramadans and grant us the health to fast in them, inshallah.
Amen.
I seek refuge with your noble face. O Lord, that it dawns tonight or the month of Ramadan elapses while I am still liable to an offense or a sin that you want to punish me for committing when I will meet you. We haven't done enough. I seek refuge in you. If there is that small sin, forgive me before the dawn comes. Forgive me before the end of Ramadan. In case there's a sin that you want to mention on the Day of Judgment.
That's a very heavy-hearted,
Is
isn't it? Because you just think, when you actually look, and Allah remembers every sin of us.
Micro
we,
detail, yeah.
Yes,
and we
definitely.
forget, and yet when you're pleading to Him for His mercy, and yes, He's all-encompassing, but for us to account for ourselves and to actually think, you know, if this was it, my life was to go now, am I happy with what I've, not that you'd ever be happy, but can I show my face to Allah? Can I meet Allah thinking
Definitely.
that, you know, I'm worthy of His acceptance. But
Knowing you're full of sins.
exactly.
By the way, I don't mean you. I
No,
mean
but
The generic
gen-
you.
gen- general you.
And me as well,
Yeah.
absolutely. But
Speaking for myself, of course, first, yani, the sins that I've committed is like, you know of the sins that you commit. You know you're committing a sin. You know that you're not there with pure intention. Not pure intention, sorry. You're not there with a pure soul.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
by a pure soul, I mean, it's not free from sin. I'm not trying to say you don't have that pure intention towards Allah, no. But you're not free from sin. Yet, we still have this thing of, do you know what? I know Allah will forgive me.
yeah,
I know Allah has that mercy to Him, that if I was to turn to Him, He will say, do you know what? You're forgiven.
just to have that hope in Him,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And it's mentioned in Dua al-Iftitah, which we mentioned possibly in the first episode, where we mentioned, you call upon me, I move away. You show love and compassion towards me, I turn my head away. You do this, I do that. Yet, none of that denied you from accepting my praise.
All of our rebellion
Yeah.
wasn't a block.
And
Look
the
at
thing
that
is,
mercy.
it truly shows His mercy. Why? Because us as human beings, let's just speak honestly here. If we see someone constantly oppressing us, if we see someone we are constantly calling out to, and they're always putting us to the side, even with family, Salat al-Rahim is one of the most important things that we have to bring family closer. Yet we always have this excuse of, why do I always need to call?
Yeah.
Why do I always
Why
need to
can't he
text?
call me?
Why can't he call me? Yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's always calling you. You're always pressing decline. Yet He will still, he will not call. No, when you call, He will answer you. Yet while you're all pressing decline all the time, He's calling. You're there. Do you know what? I can't be asked for this right now. Decline. He's
I'll do
calling
it later.
again.
I have
Do you know
time.
what? He sent you a text. Do you know what?
You delete.
I'll reply later. Do you know what?
Yeah.
Like he said, let me even delete it. I can't be asked for this right now.
Yeah.
Yet, not when you call, no, when you're thinking about calling, and He knows you have that pure intention within you, He will answer you before you call. He will answer you before you call. And we have in our Hadith Qudsi, the Hadith Qudsi that we have from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Abdi ata'ni, my slave, my servant, obey me. Takun, there's two, مثلي or mithli. Mithli means an example of me, mithli means like me. Same idea. تكن مثلي. تقل للشيء كن فيكون. You say to something be, and it will be. After what? After we constantly call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After we set ourselves in the right state to call upon Him. And in that case, before you even flinch, your dua is accepted. Before flinching, your dua is accepted. And that is part of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have in our narrations that even with the Imams, with many of the struggles that they went through, it is narrated that if they were to turn their head just a bit to the sky in wanting to do dua upon everything that is happening, then that's it. It's game over, literally. And we have, I don't really want to mention this because it is a very emotional thing to mention, but just generally just the outline of it. Fatima Zahra alayhi salatu wasalam, when she came out of her house and Imam Ali was in the masjid, it is narrated that Imam Ali, when he saw her about to make dua on the people, he sent one of his companions. He said to him, go to Fatima Zahra, tell her to move away. He comes to her, he says, Amir al-Mu'mineen has just sent me to you, and he has said, your father was sent as a mercy to mankind. Do you not be the reason for the destruction?
Often had she done that.
By Allah, if she had turned her head, that's it. Game over, literally. The earth would have collapsed. Why? Because they have that true ta'ah. You see, when I said, Abdi ata'ni takun mathali taqul shay'in kun fayakun, you say be and be, it has a prerequisite. The prerequisite is ta'ah, obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing what He has asked you to do.
Yeah.
Throughout your daily actions, through your akhlaq. Akhlaq is a very important one.
Absolutely.
In the Quran, I think we'd all here agree, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best of those who worshipped,
Perfect, yeah.
the best of those who did salah. Yeah, in the Quran, does He say, did Allah mention the Prophet's salah? Never. Did Allah mention the Prophet's dua? Never. Did Allah mention the Prophet's hajj? Never. Did Allah mention the Prophet's fasting in Ramadan? Never. Yet when He came to mention the Prophet, He said, إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. You're upon great akhlaq.
Yeah.
Allahu Akbar. Beautiful.
Amazing ayah. Shows us how we truly need to act.
And I
Especially
think
living in the West.
Definitely, and I think you're so eloquently telling, informing us and sharing with us. But I think when you look at the stories of Ahlul Bayt, and especially the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, the way they dealt with the love they showed and the compassion and the way they taught the followers, and obviously lessons for us for infinite times, it's with such kindness, such excellent morals, that it's not with harshness, it's not with saying you must do this and follow me. And you think, how many lessons we can continue to learn of how we speak to others. You know, there's so many things that sometimes we think, oh, did I come across too harsh? Did I say? And you think at every point we have things to learn.
Definitely.
And I think you were so beautifully mentioning, you know, how the Holy Prophet was an example.
Yeah, the thing is, another thing I do want to mention, if we have time.
Yes.
For sure.
In the dua,
We'll make time.
Jazakallah khair. In the dua, it talks about confessing, because you're confessing to Allah, you're saying, I have sins. So do not let dawn come or Ramadan end without you having forgiven my sins. And this confession part is very important. The most important part. Because when you confess for something, it means you know that you have done something wrong. That's number one. Number two, in our ahadith, we are told that when you want to make tawbah, the very first step of tawbah is to confess. Is to turn to Allah, oh Allah, I did this specific sin. Then you ask for forgiveness. Then you do not repeat, and that is where your sin is forgiven.
And the beauty of this confession is it's direct.
Yeah.
It's not between you and a third party.
No.
It's you straight to Allah.
Straight to Allah. I did this.
Yeah. So it's good for you to acknowledge, remember your shortcomings.
And remembering
know
that
that
there is a higher power,
Right.
an infinite power, infinite mercy above you that will forgive you for whatever sin you have done.
Do you know what's actually reminding me that, you know, when you're talking about these steps of asking for forgiveness and confession, it's the acceptance, and then you go on and ask Allah, you know, that I acknowledge that I've done these steps. And even when you look at forgiving, you know, maybe your family members that you say we may be really hard done by, but it's those steps that you have to say, yeah, okay, the acceptance of what's happened, but the healing comes in allowing things to let them go and to forgive others. And if we don't have that mercy towards one another, and in this holy month, and while we still have time to make those amends and then turn to Allah and say, you know, I've done my bit with others, but you have that mercy on me. You're
Definitely.
more merciful than, you know, than what we can be. But we surely have to be with one another equally then, and then before we
100%.
turn to...
One of the best things to do during the month of Ramadan, or what you start off with, is you forgive people.
Yeah.
Why? Because when you then turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you say, like you beautifully mentioned, oh Allah, I have forgiven. You are the most forgiving. You are the most merciful. Forgive this slave of yours. That is just pure beauty in asking Allah, in a way of asking. And we mentioned the salawat part where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He answers the salawat, so he'd be too shy to not answer the other dua. It's the same thing here. He has shown mercy from you, so how about the most merciful? Is he really just going to say, oh, do you know what, let's put them to the side? Definitely not.
Inshallah not. Thank you
Inshallah.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Have thoroughly enjoyed your contribution.
And may
Have
Allah
enjoyed
reward
being
you
here.
for your efforts.
Jazakumullah
Continue to
khair. May Allah
reward you for your
reward you
efforts.
too, inshallah. Eid Mubarak to come.
Inshallah.
Inshallah on you and your
Yeah.
blessed families.
Right.
And inshallah
Thank you
many
so
more
much.
years to come.
Inshallah.
To you, to our respected viewers.
Thank you so
And
much.
inshallah,
Keep
the
us
best
in
of
your dua,
success.
definitely.
And may you see nothing but good and success in this life and in the hereafter.
Ameen.
Ameen.
Ameen. Inshallah, we have tawfiq to be here again next year.
Inshallah.
And inshallah, whatever ibadah you have done, may Allah accept it.
Jazakumullah
And all
khair,
your
likewise,
family, and may
inshallah.
Allah bless your deceased. And
Jazakumullah khair,
inshallah,
likewise.
that's all we've got time for. Next up is Baraka Pearls with Dua Maksumi, and the topic is the bounties of Eid.